There's always someone out there who's working harder than you. That sentence haunted me like a shadow. No matter where I went, no matter how much I thought I was giving, I kept hearing that voice echoing in my head. Someone, somewhere, is outworking you. Now imagine this, you walk into the gym at 5 in the morning. It's still dark outside, the world is sleeping, but you decided to show up. You're proud of yourself because you beat the alarm, you got out of bed, and you're here before most people even think about starting their day. You put your bag down, lace up your shoes, and get ready to grind. And then you see him, that one person who's already there. He's drenched in sweat. His shirt is soaked. He's been working before you even thought about waking up. And here's the part that shakes you to your core. When you finish your workout, exhausted and ready to call it a day, he's still there. He doesn't leave. He just keeps going. That's not an accident. That's not luck. That's not talent. That's pure willpower. That's the hunger to prove a point. You cannot outwork me. You might be more talented. You might be smarter, but you will never work harder than me. This isn't just about fitness. It's about life. Because life is a competition, not with others, but with yourself. Every day is a test. Will you rise, or will you give in? Will you demand more from yourself, or will you settle for average? The truth is, the world doesn't care about your excuses. The world doesn't care about your tiredness, your problems, your circumstances. The world only responds to one thing: results. Think about Kobe Bryant. One day I asked him, "Kobe, why were you in the gym so long?" And his answer was so simple, so powerful. "Because I saw you come in, and I wanted you to know that no matter how hard you work, I am willing to work harder than you." Let that sink in. A man already at the top of the game, one of the greatest ever, didn't just rely on talent. He didn't coast on reputation. He chose to outwork everyone, even the people who were chasing him. That's what greatness looks like. That's what it feels like. And if you want to build a life, a legacy, a dream that actually matters, that's the price you have to pay. So here's the question for you. Are you willing to be that person? Are you willing to show up when nobody else does? Are you willing to sacrifice comfort for progress? Because comfort is the enemy. Comfort kills ambition. Comfort whispers in your ear, "You deserve a break. You've done enough. Just rest a little longer." And every time you listen to that voice, someone else is out there moving ahead of you. The truth is harsh, but it's liberating. If you're not number one, it's because someone outworked you. If you're not where you want to be in life, it's because you didn't push hard enough, long enough, consistently enough. Talent matters. Intelligence matters. But in the long run, the hardest worker always wins. Being the hardest worker in the room doesn't mean shouting about it, posting about it, or bragging about it. It means quietly, consistently, relentlessly showing up. It means grinding when no one is watching. It means pouring yourself into the process, day after day, without needing validation, without applause. You see, the real competition isn't between you and the world. The real competition is between who you are today and who you have the potential to become tomorrow. That's why every single day matters. That's why Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they all matter. Because if you get better by just 1% every day, you're unstoppable. So again, let me ask you, are you willing to be the hardest worker in the room? Not once, not twice, but every day, every moment, every season of your life? Because if the answer is yes, then everything changes. If the answer is yes, then you stop living in excuses and you start living in execution. This is your wake-up call. This is your challenge. This is the line drawn in the sand. The people who succeed in this world aren't always the smartest. They aren't always the most gifted. But they are always, without exception, the hardest workers in the room. Every single day is a test. Monday comes, and you think you've worked hard enough last week. But Tuesday arrives and whispers, "Prove it again." Wednesday doesn't care about what you did on Monday or Tuesday. It demands more. Every single day demands more. That's why I live by this rule. You don't stop. You don't slow down. You don't celebrate too early. You keep pushing because the moment you think you've made it, the world is already moving past you. Here's the truth most people don't want to face. Being number two isn't enough. If you accept being second best, you've already lost. Success is not about comparing yourself with others once or twice. Success is about waking up every single day and declaring war on yesterday's version of yourself. When I was younger, I thought talent would carry me. I thought if I was good enough, the world would notice. But the world doesn't reward talent alone. The world rewards obsession. Obsession with improvement. Obsession with growth. Obsession with never letting yesterday define tomorrow. Think about it. What does it mean to never stop? It means when your muscles ache, you keep going. When your mind tells you to quit, you push harder. When people around you are satisfied, you demand more from yourself. That's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. The ordinary stop when they're tired. The extraordinary stop only when the work is finished. But it's more than just grinding. It's about playing with a certain kind of fire inside you. I call it angry play. Not anger at the world, not bitterness, but a controlled fire, a refusal to accept mediocrity. Every rep, every sprint, every hour of work is fueled by that fire. You don't just work, you attack the work. The formula is simple, but it isn't easy. Dedication plus hard work equals success. Dedication means you commit to the process even when no one's watching. Hard work means you push past the limits when most people quit. Combine those two and you create momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds results. And results build legacies. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't ask, what do I feel like doing? Ask instead, what must I do to become the hardest worker in the room? Because once you build that habit, once you embrace that spirit of never stopping, nothing can hold you back. Here's a reality most people try to ignore. Success has a price, and the price is never cheap. If you want to be great, if you want to separate yourself from the pack, you have to pay with something that most people are unwilling to give: sacrifice. People love the idea of success. They love the image of standing on stage, of people clapping, of their names being remembered. But they don't love the nights spent alone. They don't love the mornings when the alarm goes off at 4 a.m. and their bodies beg for sleep. They don't love the pain of missing out on parties, the sting of rejection, or the silence of grinding when nobody's cheering. Yet, that's the real cost of success. There are no shortcuts, no easy path. Success doesn't come to the one who waits. It comes to the one who refuses to quit. It's a brutal truth. Comfort is the enemy. Comfort seduces you, whispers in your ear, telling you that you've already done enough. But success doesn't live in comfort zones. Success lives in the uncomfortable, in the late nights, in the early mornings, in the sweat, in the setbacks, in the places most people avoid. Think about every great athlete, every world-class entrepreneur, every leader who left a mark. They didn't get there because it was easy. They got there because they chose to do the things others wouldn't. They paid the price others avoided. And because of that, they earned what others only dreamed of. The truth is, nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody is going to hand you success. Nobody is coming to save you. If you want it, you have to take it. That means when you fail, you don't hide, you learn. When you get knocked down, you don't stay down, you rise. When the world doubts you, you don't prove them right, you prove them wrong. Let me tell you something powerful. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the tuition you pay for success. Every rejection, every disappointment, every moment of pain. It's a down payment toward your future. The problem is, most people want success on credit. They want the rewards first without paying the cost. But the universe doesn't work that way. You always pay up front with sweat, with time, with sacrifice. So when you feel that discomfort, when you're sore, when you're tired, when you're lonely, that's not a sign you're failing. That's a sign you're on the right path. That's the signal that you're paying the price, that you're investing in yourself, that you're building something few people ever will. And remember this, mediocrity also has a price. The price of regret. The price of looking back in 20 years and wishing you had worked harder, wishing you had taken the chance, wishing you hadn't settled. You can pay the price of discipline now, or you can pay the price of regret later. Either way, you pay. The choice is yours. So the truth about success is this: it's not glamorous. It's not instant. It's not easy. It is blood, sweat, and tears. It is sacrifice and persistence. It is discipline when no one's watching. But if you're willing to pay that price, if you're willing to step into the discomfort and stay there, you will rise above the rest. And one day, when others are still dreaming, you'll be living the life they only talk about. Let's talk about habits, because habits will make or break you. People think success is about one big breakthrough, one lucky shot, one golden opportunity. But that's a lie. Success is not built in a single moment. It's built in the small, repeated choices you make every single day. Winning is not an event. Winning is a habit, and losing is also a habit. The difference between those who rise and those who fall lies in the routines they practice when nobody is watching. Ask yourself this: when you're tired, do you stop, or do you push through? When you're tempted to slack off, do you give in, or do you stick to the plan? Because discipline is not about what you do when it's easy. It's about what you do when it's hard. That's the real test. I remember nights when I was exhausted, when my body screamed for rest. I had excuses lined up: too sore, too busy, too stressed. But I learned that excuses are liars. Excuses will tell you what you want to hear, but they'll steal your future. And every time you give in, every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," you're feeding the habit of losing. On the flip side, every time you show up, every time you keep your promise to yourself, you're feeding the habit of winning. You're teaching your brain, I am the kind of person who does the hard things. I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. That identity, built repetition after repetition, becomes unshakable. And here's something I live by: I never let my circumstances control my consistency. Rain, snow, heat, sickness, fatigue, it doesn't matter. If the work needs to be done, I do it. That's the edge. Most people only work when it feels good. Champions work whether it feels good or not. But there's another part of the winning mindset, what I call staying hungry. No matter how much I achieve, I never let myself feel full. I stay in that broke mentality. Even if I've won, even if I've built success, I still act as if I'm chasing my first victory. That hunger keeps me sharp. The moment you get comfortable, you start to decline. Winning also requires adaptability. You don't need the perfect plan. You need the ability to adjust when things don't go your way. Life will throw chaos at you. Unexpected setbacks will happen. If your entire identity is tied to one rigid plan, you'll collapse the moment it breaks. But if you build the habit of adjusting, of learning, of evolving, then no obstacle can stop you. Every transformation begins with breaking old patterns. You can't become new by clinging to the old. To win, you must destroy the habits that chain you and replace them with habits that free you. It's not easy. It's painful. But that's the price of growth. So remember, winning is not a one-time act. It's not a highlight reel. It's not something you post on social media. Winning is brushing your teeth with discipline, showing up when tired, choosing sacrifice over comfort, repeating small actions until they become who you are. Winning is identity, and once it's who you are, nothing can take it away. Every single struggle you face has the potential to become your greatest source of strength. The nights you cry yourself to sleep, the mornings when your body aches and your mind screams, quit. The failures that make you feel like you're not good enough, those are not signs of weakness. Those are the raw materials from which greatness is built. Think about it. When a blacksmith forges a sword, the steel must be heated in the hottest flames, then hammered again and again until it becomes unbreakable. Without the fire, without the hammer, without the pressure, it remains just a piece of ordinary metal. Your life works the same way. Every trial, every heartbreak, every setback, that's the fire shaping you into something extraordinary. The problem is, most people run away from the fire. They avoid discomfort. They avoid challenges. They avoid struggle. And because of that, they never evolve. They stay stuck, wondering why life feels heavy, why success always feels out of reach. But those who embrace the fire, those who lean into the pain and use it as fuel, they are the ones who rise above. Look back at your hardest moments. The times when you thought you couldn't take another step, but somehow you did. The nights when you thought the world was ending, but the sun still rose the next morning. Those are proof that you're stronger than you believe. That resilience, that toughness, that ability to survive, that is your power. But surviving is not enough. You cannot just go through struggles. You must grow through them. Survival keeps you alive, but growth transforms you. Growth is what takes pain and turns it into purpose. Growth is what transforms obstacles into opportunities. Here's the truth. You are either defined by your struggles or refined by them. One choice leads to bitterness, the other to greatness. When you let struggles define you, you become a victim. You carry scars not as proof of survival, but as chains that hold you back. You keep telling the same story of pain, anger, and disappointment over and over again until it becomes your identity. But when you let struggles refine you, everything changes. Your scars become symbols of resilience. Your story becomes a testimony that inspires others. Your pain becomes the platform on which you stand taller than ever. Think of the people you admire most. The athletes, the leaders, the visionaries. Every single one of them has walked through fire. Every single one of them has been knocked down, rejected, doubted, and broken. But what sets them apart is this: they chose not to stay down. They chose to use their struggles as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. The reality is, you can't avoid struggle. Life will test you whether you're ready or not. But the good news is, you don't have to fear it. You don't have to see it as punishment. You can see it as preparation. Every storm you face is shaping you for something greater. Ask yourself, what if the struggle you're facing right now is the exact training you need for the future you've been praying for? What if this pain, this frustration, this heartbreak is not meant to destroy you, but to prepare you? Because the truth is, strength doesn't come from comfort. Strength is forged in discomfort, in challenge, in adversity. Diamonds are created under pressure. Champions are born in the grind. Leaders are shaped in the fire. So instead of asking, why me? Start asking, why not me? Why shouldn't you be the one who rises above? Why shouldn't you be the one who takes everything meant to break you and uses it to build an unshakable foundation? Imagine the version of yourself 5 years from now, stronger, wiser, unbreakable. That version of you is waiting on the other side of the struggles you're facing today. But you will never meet that version if you quit. You will never meet that version if you keep running away from the fire. The fire is your friend. The struggle is your teacher. The pain is your greatest mentor. Listen to it. Learn from it. Let it mold you into the person you were destined to become. And when you finally overcome, when you stand on the other side of the storm with your head held high, you'll realize that the struggle was not a curse. It was a blessing in disguise. It was the very thing that gave you the strength, the courage, and the resilience to step into your true potential. So, the next time life knocks you down, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, declare, this is happening for me, because it is. Every struggle is not breaking you, it is building you. Every obstacle is not stopping you, it is strengthening you. Every loss is not defeating you, it is teaching you. Turn your struggles into strength. Turn your pain into power. Turn your battles into blessings. And never forget, the fire you fear is the fire that forges the strongest steel. Everyone has goals. Everyone dreams. Everyone imagines a better version of themselves. But here's the brutal truth. Dreams don't work unless you do. And even more important, dreams don't work unless you stay consistent. That's where discipline enters. Discipline is the invisible bridge that carries you from your goals to your results. Without it, your goals remain fantasies. Words written on paper, pictures stuck on a vision board, promises whispered in silence. With it, your goals transform into reality. Discipline is the muscle that keeps you moving when motivation fades. Because motivation is temporary. Motivation is the spark that gets you started, but discipline is the fuel that keeps the fire burning. Motivation might get you to the gym on Monday, but discipline is what gets you there on Friday night when everyone else is out partying. Motivation might help you start writing a book, but discipline is what keeps you typing when the words don't flow and inspiration is gone. Think about it. How many times have you felt motivated, only to lose that energy a week later? How many times did you start strong, but couldn't finish because the feeling disappeared. That's because you were relying on motivation instead of building discipline. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. The truth is, discipline is freedom. People think discipline is about restriction, about limiting yourself, about living without joy. But the opposite is true. Discipline gives you freedom because it creates structure, creates stability. It builds habits that make your life easier, not harder. When you're disciplined with your money, you gain financial freedom. When you're disciplined with your health, you gain physical freedom. When you're disciplined with your time, you gain freedom to focus on what truly matters. Discipline is what transforms chaos into clarity. It is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers. But discipline isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not loud. Discipline is waking up at 5 a.m. when the bed feels warmer than ever. Discipline is eating the meal that fuels your body instead of the food that satisfies your cravings. Discipline is saying no to instant pleasure so you can say yes to long-term success. And that's why most people fail. They chase comfort. They choose what feels good now over what will feel great later. They want the reward without the grind, the trophy without the sweat, the result without the process. But discipline demands sacrifice. It demands you give up who you are right now for who you want to become. Ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped negotiating with yourself? What if you stopped hitting snooze? What if you stopped making excuses? What if you showed up every single day, no matter how you felt? Your entire life would change. Because discipline compounds. The small actions you repeat every day, reading 10 pages, running 1 mile, saving $10, they add up. They build momentum. They create habits. And habits are stronger than feelings. Habits carry you when your emotions betray you. Habits keep you on track when your mind says, skip it today. Look at the greatest performers in the world. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists. Their greatness isn't built on bursts of motivation. It's built on years of disciplined practice, of consistent effort, of showing up when nobody was watching. Behind every success story is a trail of disciplined choices. Discipline is also self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your belief in who you are. Every time you follow through, even when it's hard, you build trust in yourself. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Without discipline, you live in chaos. You break promises to yourself. You quit when things get tough. And deep down, you stop believing in your own word. That's why discipline matters. It's not just about results. It's about identity. If you want to change your life, don't chase motivation. Build discipline. If you want results that last, create systems that carry you forward whether you feel like it or not. Start small. Wake up at the same time every day. Drink water before coffee. Write down your priorities before checking your phone. Train your discipline like a muscle. First, it will be hard. It will feel heavy. But over time, it will get stronger. And as your discipline grows, so will your life. Remember this, discipline is not punishment, it's preparation. It's not prison, it's power. It's not the enemy, it's the key. The bridge between where you are and where you want to be is called discipline. And the sooner you cross it, the sooner you'll reach the life you've been dreaming of. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting to feel ready. You will never feel ready. Just start. Start today. Start small. And stay consistent. Because in the end, discipline will take you further than motivation ever could. Persistence is the great equalizer. You may not be the smartest. You may not be the strongest. You may not have the best opportunities or the best connections. But if you refuse to quit, if you keep showing up no matter what, you can outlast anyone. History is filled with stories of people who won not because they were the most talented, but because they were the most persistent. They were the ones who got knocked down 10 times and stood up 11. They were the ones who kept knocking on doors even after 99 rejections. They were the ones who understood the simple truth. The only way you truly lose is if you quit. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times while trying to invent the light bulb. Most people would have given up after 10 failures, maybe 50. But Edison said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's persistence. That's refusing to let failure define you. And because of that persistence, he gave light to the world. Or think about J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she was rejected by publisher after publisher. She was a single mother, living on welfare, struggling to survive. But she refused to quit. She kept writing. She kept sending her manuscript. And finally, one publisher said yes, and the rest is history. Now, here's the truth about persistence. It isn't glamorous. It doesn't feel exciting in the moment. In fact, most of the time it feels boring, repetitive, and exhausting. Persistence is waking up every day to do the same work, even when results are invisible. It's grinding when progress is so small it feels non-existent. It's fighting through self-doubt, fear, and fatigue when everything in you screams to quit. But that's the secret. Persistence is a war of attrition. It's not about moving fast, it's about not stopping. Success doesn't always go to the fastest runner, but to the one who refuses to leave the track. Life doesn't reward the person who starts with the most energy, but the one who has the courage to still be standing at the finish line. Persistence also changes you. It builds resilience. Every time you push through a challenge, you grow tougher. Every time you keep going despite setbacks, you strengthen your character. And over time, you begin to see yourself differently, not as someone who gives up, but as someone who endures. That identity becomes your power. Here's something most people don't realize. Persistence creates opportunities. Doors that once seemed locked start to open simply because you kept knocking. People begin to notice not your talent, but your relentless effort. And effort is often more valuable than talent because effort is controllable. Talent is a gift. Persistence is a choice. And that choice is available to everyone. No matter your background, no matter your circumstances, you can choose persistence. You can choose to keep going. You can choose to keep fighting for your dream when others let theirs die. But persistence requires patience. You cannot expect immediate results. Seeds take time to grow. A farmer doesn't plant one day and harvest the next. He waits, he waters, he weeds, he protects, and eventually the harvest comes. Your dreams are no different. Persistence is the watering, the weeding, the waiting. Without it, your dreams wither. With it, they flourish. So ask yourself, how many dreams have you abandoned because you quit too soon? How many goals could you have reached if you had just kept going a little longer? The difference between winning and losing is often just one more try. One more call, one more workout, one more day of effort. That one more could be the turning point. But you'll never know if you quit before you get there. Persistence is also about faith. Faith that your effort matters. Faith that your journey has purpose. Faith that the process is shaping you into the person capable of handling the success you're chasing. Without faith, persistence feels meaningless. With faith, persistence becomes a powerful declaration. I will not stop until I win. And here's the beauty of persistence. Even if you don't reach the exact goal you set, you still win, because you become stronger, wiser, more disciplined, and more resilient. Persistence ensures that you never walk away empty-handed. So the next time you feel like quitting, remember this. Someone out there is waiting for you to give up so they can take your place. Someone is counting on your surrender. Don't give it to them. Outlast them. Outwork them. Outpersist them. Success belongs to the ones who simply refuse to quit. Champions are not born, they are built. They are forged in the fire of struggle, pressure, and relentless discipline. What separates a champion from everyone else is not just skill, talent, or luck. It is mindset. The way they think, the way they approach challenges, and the way they view themselves defines their destiny. So, what is the mindset of a champion? First, champions believe in responsibility. They take ownership of everything in their life, their successes and their failures. When things go wrong, they don't look for excuses. They don't blame their parents, their coaches, their environment, or their luck. They say, "This is on me. I will fix it." That level of accountability gives them power. Because when you take responsibility, you take control. Second, champions embrace pressure. Pressure doesn't break them, it sharpens them. While others run from challenges, champions run toward them. They understand that pressure is a privilege. It means you're in the arena, that the outcome matters, that you're playing at a level worth fighting for. The greater the pressure, the greater the opportunity to rise. Think of Michael Jordan. He missed more than 9,000 shots in his career, lost almost 300 games, and on 26 occasions was trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. But instead of fearing failure, he used those moments to sharpen his skill, strengthen his resolve, and prepare for the next opportunity. That's the mindset of a champion. Failure is feedback, not finality. Third, champions are obsessed with growth. They are never satisfied. Even when they win, they ask, how can I get better? They don't measure themselves against others, but against their own potential. The true competitor is not trying to be better than someone else. They are trying to be better than who they were yesterday. Fourth, champions embrace discomfort. They know growth comes from pain. While most people avoid the hard road, champions walk it willingly. They wake up early when others sleep. They train when others rest. They sacrifice what is easy for what is necessary. They understand that the price of greatness is paid in discomfort, and they are willing to pay it every single day. Fifth, champions visualize victory. They see success in their mind long before it happens in reality. They picture themselves winning, thriving, achieving. This mental rehearsal builds confidence. When the real moment arrives, it feels familiar because they've already lived it in their imagination. But the most powerful trait of the champion mindset is resilience. No matter how many times they fall, they rise. No matter how loud the critics are, they keep moving. No matter how great the setback, they see it as part of the journey, not the end. Resilience is the heartbeat of champions. Now here's the truth. You don't need to be an athlete to have the mindset of a champion. You don't need a trophy, a medal, or a championship ring. Life itself is the arena. Every day you face challenges, choices, and battles. And every day you have the chance to step into that arena with the heart of a champion. Ask yourself, when life knocks me down, do I rise or do I stay down? When fear whispers in my ear, do I retreat or do I fight? When opportunities appear, do I shrink back or step forward? The champion mindset is available to anyone willing to choose it. It is not about winning every battle, but about refusing to quit. It is not about being the best in the world, but about being the best version of yourself. Champions think differently. Where others see problems, they see possibilities. Where others see pain, they see growth. Where others see limits, they see opportunities. This shift in perspective is what gives them the edge. And here's the secret. Champions are built in silence. The world only sees the highlight reels, the trophies, the applause. They don't see the lonely mornings, the painful sacrifices, the countless hours of unseen work. The mindset of a champion is not created in the spotlight, but in the shadows when no one is watching and quitting would be easy. Finally, champions live with purpose. They know why they do what they do. Purpose fuels persistence, and persistence fuels victory. Without purpose, motivation fades. With purpose, nothing can stop you. So, if you want to think like a champion, start today. Take responsibility. Embrace pressure. Seek growth. Welcome discomfort. Visualize victory. Build resilience. Live with purpose. Because the champion mindset is not about what you have, it's about who you choose to become. Discipline is the backbone of greatness. Without it, talent fades, motivation disappears, and dreams collapse. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's often boring, repetitive, and uncomfortable. But it's also the most powerful force you can master. Most people wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready. But champions don't rely on feelings, they rely on discipline. Because motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Motivation says, I'll do it when I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll do it no matter how I feel. That's the difference between average and great. Think of discipline as a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time you resist temptation, every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you strengthen that muscle. And just like physical training, Discipline grows through repetition, consistency, and pushing past resistance. But here's the truth. Discipline will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you pleasure. It will cost you late nights of fun, mornings of extra sleep, and moments of ease. But everything discipline takes, it repays tenfold with confidence, freedom, and achievement. Discipline is freedom. That may sound like a contradiction, but it's true. When you are disciplined with your money, you gain financial freedom. When you are disciplined with your body, you gain physical freedom. When you are disciplined with your time, you gain control over your life. Lack of discipline feels like freedom in the moment, but it leads to chains later, chains of regret, chains of debt, chains of wasted potential. Champions understand this. That's why they build strict routines and stick to them. They don't let emotions dictate their actions. If it's on the schedule, it gets done. No negotiations, no excuses. That's how you build unshakable trust in yourself. But discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. You will slip, you will stumble, you will miss a day, make mistakes, or lose focus. The key is not to let failure become a habit. Champions fail, but they fail forward. They reset, refocus, and return stronger. And discipline is contagious. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, people notice. Your consistency inspires others. Your actions become proof that greatness is possible. You stop just talking about goals, you embody them. Now, let me tell you something most people don't realize. Discipline is not punishment, it's self-respect. It's saying, I value my future enough to act today. I care about myself enough to make sacrifices now so I can reap rewards later. Without discipline, you are a prisoner of impulse. With discipline, you are the master of your destiny. Greatness doesn't demand talent, it demands discipline. Talent can open the door, but only discipline will keep you inside. History is filled with talented people who wasted their potential because they lacked consistency. But those who rose, those who stayed on top, those who built legacies, they all had discipline at their core. So how do you build discipline? Start small. Don't try to overhaul your life in one day. Begin with one habit, wake up at the same time every morning, commit to 20 minutes of exercise, read 10 pages a day, save a fixed amount of money each week. Build consistency, then stack habits on top of each other. That's how you grow into a disciplined life, one choice at a time. Remember, discipline is not about doing extraordinary things once, it's about doing ordinary things consistently. Anyone can run 1 mile, but discipline is running every day. Anyone can save money once, but discipline is saving every month. Anyone can show up motivated once, but discipline is showing up always. And here's the most important part. Discipline will outlast motivation, talent, and even luck. When everything else fails, discipline remains. It's the glue that holds your dreams together. So ask yourself, are you living by feelings or by discipline? Do you quit when it gets hard, or do you keep going? Do you let your impulses lead, or do you lead yourself? The answer to those questions will determine your future. Because discipline is not just a practice, it's an identity. And when you become a disciplined person, there's nothing you can't achieve. Greatness has always demanded a price. Nothing in life that truly matters, nothing that defines a legacy, nothing that stands the test of time ever comes free. It requires sacrifice. Sacrifice of comfort, sacrifice of distractions, sacrifice of relationships that don't serve your vision, and sometimes even the sacrifice of who you used to be in order to become who you must be. When you look at the stories of champions, of world leaders, of innovators, and of icons, there is a common thread. At some point, they paid a price that most people were unwilling to pay. They gave up the easy path for the difficult one. They chose lonely nights of work over fleeting moments of pleasure. They gave up instant gratification for long-term greatness. Think of the athlete who wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning every single day. While the rest of the world sleeps, he's already grinding. He's sacrificing rest, sacrificing comfort, because he knows that those extra hours add up to an edge. Think of the entrepreneur who pours every ounce of energy, every dollar of savings, into building something that the world laughs at in the beginning. Sacrifice is the currency of their dream. Sacrifice hurts because it's a deliberate choice to let go of something that feels good now in exchange for something that matters later. You sacrifice sleep, parties, time with friends, and sometimes even opportunities that look good on the surface but aren't aligned with your mission. You sacrifice who you are for who you are destined to become. There's a quote that says, "The man who loves walking will go further than the man who loves the destination." Why? Because the man who loves walking has already accepted the sacrifice. He knows the journey is long, and he embraces the process. That's the mentality you need when you want greatness. You need to fall in love with the price. You need to love the grind, the discipline, the loneliness, and the struggle. Most people want greatness without paying the cost. They want the muscles without the pain of training. They want wealth without the discipline of saving, investing, and working. They want love without sacrifice, leadership without responsibility, and success without failures. But life doesn't work that way. Life demands you to put something on the table first. You have to pay in sweat, blood, tears, and relentless effort before you ever get a taste of greatness. Sacrifice also means giving up your excuses. It means you stop blaming your circumstances, your upbringing, or your lack of resources. Sacrifice says, "I'll give up my comfort zone in exchange for growth." It's uncomfortable, it's painful, but that discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. When you sacrifice consistently, something powerful happens. You build resilience. You become immune to shortcuts, immune to distractions, immune to weakness. You develop the mental toughness that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Ask yourself this: what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice your evenings watching TV to spend those hours reading, learning, and building yourself? Are you willing to sacrifice scrolling on your phone to create something meaningful? Are you willing to sacrifice the opinions of others in order to chase your dream unapologetically? Every sacrifice you make is an investment into your future self. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're making a deposit into the account of greatness. And while the returns don't come immediately, when they do, they come multiplied. But here's the truth most won't tell you. Sacrifice never really ends. Even when you reach one goal, greatness demands more. The price increases with every level. You may sacrifice sleep today, and tomorrow you'll sacrifice time. You may sacrifice money this year, and next year you'll sacrifice comfort. That's the reality of growth. Each level has a new cost. Yet, the paradox is this: while sacrifice feels like loss in the moment, in the long run, it's the greatest gain you'll ever experience. You'll gain strength, wisdom, fulfillment, freedom, and a legacy that cannot be taken away. Sacrifice is proof that you believed in something greater than yourself. It's the bridge between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. It's the price of admission to the life you've always dreamed of. So when life asks you, are you willing to pay the price? Your answer has to be yes, whatever it takes. Because in the end, sacrifice isn't just the price of greatness, it is greatness.